all the people who are watching that I'm Kangana Ranaut, and I welcome you all to a very special candid conversation that I'm going to have AiR Atman in Ravi, an awakened soul.
It's such an honor to have Kangana with us today.
He runs homes for the homeless in Bangalore for the past 30 years and has transformed the lives of lakhs of people.
It's quite incidental that we both started our journey at 16.
Such a journey that you left your blossoming and blooming business to do philanthropy, to work for people and to take care of so many homeless people. This has been a surprise for me.
Actually, Kangana, I started my journey at 16, and my favorite food used to be dosa.
Everybody's, let me tell you, my favorite food is dosa as well.
Okay. Yeah. No, I had the dosa and I had a hungry man. How can I give my dosa? It was my thought. But for the first time in my life, I gave him the dosa. And the joy of giving was so much that I did not miss the dosa. And that started the philanthropy.
I went to the Shiva Temple, and it's a very powerful place, and I'm a devotee of Shiva, and I'm a very spiritual person, and I felt that connection there. What inspired you to build a temple?
Actually, this Shiva Temple, you just came to the Shiva Temple. From the Shiva Temple, everything that comes, people come and put some donation in the temple. Everything goes towards doing God's work. Then uske baad kya hai? What after we make money?
When you become very successful, you understand that this is not the answer. This is not what you were looking for. I would ask my mama, who's God? Who's made the world? What is the world? Why are we circling around this fireball? What is earth? And so on and so forth. So I grew up on these stories that, how it was very disappointing when I was born and all of that. Success is what? Just as a group of people says, hey, you made it, that is success. I stopped taking awards. I stopped going to, and they're like, why wouldn't you? I said, not from these people. I don't have any respect for them. They make such lousy films. Why should I accept? Who are they to be the jury for my? How can I even send them a note? I said, you can't judge my work.
You're known. You're an epitome. Somebody who has guts. You have inspired people. The negative people will tell you you're difficult. The positive people will tell you have guts. You have courage. You have an opportunity now, since people have elected you, you have an opportunity to change the world. And I think a person like you, the world needs people like you to lead in positions. So when I meet somebody, first of all, I give them a happiness ball. So I must give this to you.
And I stress.
But I distribute over 1 lakh because people don't know to smile. It's called Unhappiness is a Choice.
Yeah, agree.
Turn the book. Happiness is a choice too. So you can become happy or you can become unhappy.
I've been an atheist growing up, and I was a science student, and my grandfather was an atheist. He kind of fed me up and he was very successful and always so happy. I am not a gyani or anybody, but I am a bhakt. Once you are a bhakt, that state of devotion which people underestimate. It's a great technique.
What changed you?
Well, that's a long story. I was a science student, and the problem with biology, the problem with physics, the problem is with chemistry, even with physics, we don't have accuracy with anything. We do not know.
I'm amazed at what you're saying. This is the Kangana whom I'm seeing, and I can tell you intuitively, this is the kind of person that needs to question and say no.
Swami Vivekananda ji guided me to a point. You realize that the brain can only lead you to a certain point. After that, it's gonna eat you up. So, and you're like, this is the most ghisapita word in our culture. Bhakti. What is bhakti?
Bhakti में है शक्ति.
Yes.
जिससे होगी अनुभूति, जिससे होगी मुक्ति. But what bhakti cannot become mukti unless you use a guru's help to get the anubhuti. I've written 1500 songs.
Wow.
अरे यार तुम इटर्नल हैप्पीनेस के बारे में बात करते हो, जोक कर रहे हो यार. हम तो दुखी हैं, there's so much unhappiness. But I say, if you live with pleasure, peace and purpose, then your life can be. So what is life according to you?
life is just a series of tests that you go through. Mind में भी जो set of villains है ना, उनमें सबसे बड़ा villain is ego.
Absolutely. Of course you are Kangana. But Kangana is not just a beautiful actress. In reality, Kangana is a goddess.
What is enlightenment?
Enlightenment, the word, it is enlighten, to bring in the light. I think that one day, I believe, you may become the Prime Minister of India. I was only the second guy in Bangalore who had a 6-door limousine, which I got from Bollywood. I was only the second person. You know who the first person would be by now. Great evening, friends. Today is a lovely day, amazing, beautiful, such positive vibrations. We have the pleasure of meeting one of India's most versatile talents, Kangana Ranaut. She is an Indian actress, a filmmaker, politician, serving as a member of parliament, the Lok Sabha. She is the recipient of several awards, including, of course, 4 National Film Awards and 4 Filmfare Awards. In 2020, the government of India honored her with the prestigious Padma Shri Award. It's such an honor to have Kangana with us today.
AiR Atman in Ravi.
Happiness ambassador,
a spiritual mentor,
transformational author,
and a philanthropist.
Before we start, Kangana, I just was looking up some things about you, and I found it quite incidental that we both started our journey at 16. I read somewhere that you kind of started your journey at 16.
Very early.
And at 40, I shut down my business. And you're...
I'm also by 39. I'm also a politician. Yes,
it's
very close
a
to,
transformation.
yes. But let me also. I've just discovered you and your whole world, and I would like to introduce you. And very pleasant surprise to meet you and to have found you and to have found so much about you. So I would like to tell all the people who are watching that I'm Kangana Ranaut, and I welcome you all to a very special conversation, very candid conversation that I'm going to have Atman in Ravi, lovingly called AiR, an awakened soul, one of India's best-selling spiritual authors, a singer and a philanthropist. He has written over 100 books, composed and sung over 1,500 soulful bhajans. He runs homes for the homeless in Bangalore for the past 30 years and has transformed the lives of lakhs of people. You know, I won't say that I had never seen you before. Of course, I had seen you on Instagram and, I had known you. But I had not known that, I just thought that maybe you are one awakened soul who's enlightening people and all of that. But I did not know that you have so much of social work behind you, and such a journey that you left your blossoming and blooming business to do philanthropy, to work for people and to take care of so many homeless people. This has been a surprise for me. It's wonderful.
Actually, Kangana, I started my journey at 16, and my favorite food used to be dosa.
Everybody's, let me tell you, yeah, my favorite food is dosa as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one night, I started working, and I was carrying my nice dosa to eat, and I walked out, and there was a man on the street, and he said, "Saab, pura din khana nahi khaya, saab." Now, I had the dosa, and I had a hungry man. How can I give my dosa? It was my thought. But for the first time in my life, I gave him the dosa. And the joy of giving was so much that I did not miss the dosa. And that started the philanthropy. We used to go on the street and we used to find so many people that I used to take 50 dosas and 100 dosas. And in Bangalore, about 30 years back, it was like Shimla. You're coming from the Pahadi area, so
Mandi, yes.
Mandya. So it was a hill station. I used to go and put blankets, and the people used to tell me after 1 year, "Sab, आप भगवान है." I said, क्यों? He said, अगले साल आपने ब्लैंकेट दिया ना, वो हमारे साथ अभी भी वही ब्लैंकेट पड़ा है. उसका मतलब ये कि एक साल में किसी ने उसको ब्लैंकेट नहीं दिया. And the other blanket was torn. That inspired me. Actually, this Shiva temple, you just came to the Shiva temple. From the Shiva temple, everything that comes, people come and put some donation in the temple. Everything goes towards doing God's work. And so this is the divine will that we.
So I want to ask you that I went to the Shiva temple, and it's a very powerful place, and I'm a devotee of Shiva, and I'm a very spiritual person, and I felt that connection there. What inspired you to build a temple?
I started my journey of praying to Shiva when I was 8. I used to hold my grandfather's hand like this and walk. I didn't know the meaning. But faith is something, Faith is full assurance in the heart. It builds, right? You become atal vishwas ho jata hai. I didn't realize from 8 to 18, and by 28 I got a vision. Shiva told me, I was awake, and he said, build a huge temple. It should be a big statue, jata se Ganga behna hai. There must be big trees, and it should be a place of faith. I had no money, I had no land, I didn't know who will do it. I was a young guy, but he gave me everything. And so what you saw now, you asked me as we entered, who made this temple? And I can't say I made it, because we are only instruments. He uses us. Today you're doing some amazing work, but he's using you. And you become a beautiful instrument of the divine, right? And that's how this came. The man who made it can't read and write, but he made it without a measuring tape and without a blueprint. And today people are asking him to rebuild this Shiva. He can't do it. And that's why I know God has made it. It's the work of God.
Whenever there is a temple involved, I feel that, because I have also been instrumental in building a temple in Himachal Pradesh, and I feel that it is God's plan. Whenever, whether it is Ram Mandir or it is any mandir for that matter, Ram Mandir has been very dramatic for that matter, but any mandir I think, is God's plan.
So, but we must have the faith.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people have got a lot of faith, but somehow people believe God to be Shiva, Rama. I don't know how much you're familiar. I know you're coming from Bollywood, but आप अलग तरह के Bollywood star hai. From the little I've understood about you, right? But it's a beautiful movie, which I know you must remember the song. It says Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Kangana, उस फिल्म में एक गाना है. It says रामावध में, काशी में शिव, कान्हा वृंदावन में, दया करो प्रभु देखो इनको हर घर के आंगन में. उसका मतलब कि राम, शिव, हनुमान जो भी है, वो तो हर घर के आंगन में, हर इंसान में ही भगवान है. I wish people, this is what I did when I shut down my business. I was lucky that I became inspired to go on the peak. People that you know, they are on a peak of achievement. सबको चाहिए, आपको चाहिए, मुझे चाहिए. लेकिन उसके बाद क्या है? What after we make money, after we see, you've already evolved. I would like to ask you, what inspired you from going from the journey of Bollywood? You're such a superstar. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a little ignorant because of my last 10, 15 years being in spirituality, but I heard so much about you that you're not an ordinary, not just a star. You're really a superstar. But what made you evolve from that Bollywood journey to doing something more? According to me, was it some passion, some purpose? What happened?
No, just about what you said, you come to a point, and I feel that especially when you become very successful, you understand that this is not the answer. This is not what you were looking for. Somewhere, what we are taught in our childhood is that we have so many questions, like as I was a child, I had so many questions, like any other kid, I would ask my mama, who's God? who's made the world? What is the world? Why are we circling around this fireball? What is Earth? And so on and so forth. So I figured that existential questions will always, sort of make you wonder about. So my life has been a lot about wandering, and I wandered a lot. I even left school at a young age. I was a wandering soul, and then I stumbled upon theater, acting, and that started for me. And somewhere, I just got caught up in the whole business of the world. I mean, I'm the second daughter in a, like an Asian household. It can be very overwhelming for them to have a daughter after a daughter. So I grew up on these stories that, how um, it was very disappointing when I was born and all of that. Not I mean, these just simple, just remembering the little anecdotes of that day. So I knew that it was very big a disappointment the day I was born. And when I came into films, it was again a kind of a place where I was not expected or accepted. So I was like, I need to work it out, like I'm not accepted anywhere. So you just get into the rut of wanting to be successful, that I have to show, because
But you were very successful in
I
films.
became very successful in films. And that's when it hits you that, what am I doing? And this doesn't mean anything. Success is what? Five people, like for example, you said you had no idea. If you ask somebody in some other field, they'll be like, yeah, maybe we've not seen films. Out of 140 crore, if our film does very good, like say it makes 300 for 400 crore, out of 130 or 140 crore Indians, probably 2-3 crore Indian watches it. So that is the ratio. So every business is like that. You may be a very big businessman. When my mother sees you, she might not recognize you, right? Because that's how. So success is what? Just as a group of people says, hey, you made it, that is success.
Correct.
But you go to another group, they'll be like, and the group that you're talking about, they may not know intricacies of what they're talking about. Like for example, when I was in films, I was like, the people who are making these award functions, who are making these, this thing, they don't know anything. They're so bad, they're atrocious. I stopped taking awards, I stopped going to, and they're like, why wouldn't you? I said, Not from these people, like, I don't have any respect for them, and they make such lousy films. Why should I accept? Who are they to be the jury for my? How can I even send them a note? I said, you can't judge my work. I take away the right from you to judge my work. So, and then you got success, and this bunch of these people calling you, oh, great, great, and then you jumping around being happy. I said, no, that doesn't make any sense. So, I've been very open, and I've been very
You're known. You're
Known to be
epitome. No, to be somebody who has guts. You've inspired people. The negative people will tell you you're difficult. The positive people will tell you have guts, you have courage. Kangana, not many people, specifically women, and who are young, because this world is this world. They don't allow you to say what you want to say, but you're one who has spoken. You've been vocal. You've said what you want to say. I'm proud of that. I'm really happy.
Thank you.
People like you to lead in positions. Today, I tell people there are the three types of leaders. We have political leaders, we have religious leaders, but actually we need a spiritual leader. Because political leaders have a political agenda. And religious leaders, unfortunately, people don't understand the difference. They also have their agenda. But a spiritual person, what I see in your eyes as I look at you, I see a person who wants to change the world. Yeah, I'm telling you, maybe you don't, I can see through.
But I hugely agree with you that this is the need of the hour. You know how disturbing the news is on the channels everywhere, because people are so tormented by their own expectations, desires. Like yesterday only, we all read about that news where this woman took her husband on a honeymoon and she killed him. And then there's another news coming in, somebody chopped off somebody and put it in a suitcase, and so it is just mismanagement of emotions, mismanagement of what spirituality is essentially, I'd say, study of spirit. Spirit is your energy, it's your emotions, it's your all of your personality. So today generation, they're not able to manage themselves, their emotions, even if you see the food that we get, all these energy drinks, even the coffee, like my grandmother would have to struggle so much to even make a basic halwa. She has to cultivate so many things to make a basic halwa, and today we get everything on a phone call. But those, I'm just talking about basic thing like that kind of, whether it is sugar rush, caffeine, other chemicals that one is taking, other like food poisons that we are poisoning our body with, and then sitting, we're not able to do even 5,000 steps a day. We have every help in the world, people are doing things for us, and even those people are seriously dedicated to that work. They do. So I think overall, everybody is just becoming a pressure cooker of kind of panting up, and they don't have any direct, especially to their mind, that they don't have a direction.
Correct.
And
But that is spirituality. Yes, so you asked me what is spirituality. Spirituality is the science of the spirit. I love this very small definition of it, and that's why I shut my business. When I shut my business, I was just going from one country to another country. I went to Finland, Iceland, Greenland, Antarctica. Only one day, my guru asked me one day, "What the hell are you doing? क्या जिंदगी का मकसद क्या है? तुम क्या कर रहे हो?" And that's when I shut down my business. And at 40, I turned. My life turned. I became an author. I became a singer.
yeah, so you've written more than 100 books. 1500 गाने आपने लिखे हैं, 100 किताबें आपने लिखी है, 100 से ज्यादा आपने पॉडकास्ट किए हैं. That's a lot of work. So how do you,
Actually, when I meet somebody, first of all, I give them a happiness ball. So I must give this to you. And
stress ball.
but I've distributed over 1 lakh.
Okay.
And I'm distributing now lakhs because people don't know to smile. Isn't it funny that you tell people to smile? You look around people, and smile costs nothing. But people who are millionaires and billionaires, they have no time to smile. You were talking of my books. One book which I wanted to give you is called The Realizations of a Yogi.
Oh, wow.
So this it opens from the side, from this wooden piece. That this comes off. So it's a treasure. So you said I've written over 100 books, but in reality, Kangana, I spoke to Chetan Bhagat. He's such a famous author. He told me, AiR, you are writing a book a month. I take 3 years to write a book.
Yeah.
How do you do it? I said, I don't write. A book just comes to me. I got a book coming to my mind. This book is called The Mind is a Rascal. Now, people confuse the mind with the intellect. So I'm going to pass on a few books to you, which you can see later. And I'm using my left hand because this mic is in the way, don't mind me. And I've written a beautiful book on the A to Z of karma. So if you want to ask me any question on this, please feel free.
Yeah.
People don't understand the meaning of karma. They don't understand that life has trauma because it's a drama unfolding as per karma. But what is karma? How to transcend karma? How to become a karma yogi?
Yes.
I know that Vivekananda is somebody you follow. He spoke about karma yoga. So this is the book on karma. Recently, I loved one of your podcasts. You were talking about, I don't believe in this manifestation. I don't remember who you were speaking to. I wrote a book called Action is the Secret to Attraction. Now, in the word attraction, if you remove the word action, what is left is ATTR, atra. So manifestation cannot happen without action. Yeah. This is what you were trying to tell. I don't know who it was. Say, don't keep saying, मैं घर में बैठूंगा, जो भी मैं manifest करता हूँ. Of course, you rightly told him, I don't believe in what you're saying. Because you need action. Then only attraction can work.
Yes, absolutely.
So these are some. I'm leaving you with just a couple of books since you're now in the politics. I've written a book on Sanatan Dharma, and it's so beautiful, Kangana, that the entire Sanatan Dharma can come in 12 words. 12 shabdon mein. I'm just going to quickly rattle them off for you to read. Tell me later whether you're familiar with this or not. It starts with neti neti. In fact, our Honorable Prime Minister, when he was doing the inauguration of Adi Shankara's Kedarnath Mandir, he spoke of these words. Neti, I am not the body. Neti, I am not the mind. Tattvamasi. Thou art that. I am Atma Brahma. The Atma is Paramatma. Prajnanam Brahma. Every insan, every human being is Bhagavan. And I am Brahmasmi. Therefore, I am Shiva. Shivoham Shivoham. So I'm not going to give you more books, but I'm going to give you some.
No, I would appreciate that.
The last book I'm giving you is called Unhappiness is a Choice.
Yeah, agree.
And when people tell me, "Arey, kya negative book ho gaya? Unhappiness is a choice." I told them, turn the book. Happiness is a choice too. So you can become happy or you can become unhappy. People say, I want to be happy. I say, shh, don't say I want to be happy. Say I choose to be happy. Because you can. So I'm just leaving these books. I'm through with.
Thank you so much.
So these are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So these are several books, but Kangana, I don't write. The book just comes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that is the case with all work of art and creativity. We always, even being an artist, I had these very strong experiences. Whether I've written the next dialogue or a screenplay, or I've imitated somebody's life, impersonated. So many times I have, when making character sketches of real life characters, I have gone through instances that this person must have gone through these instances, and later on realized that actually this happened in their life. So this is all, I just feel that everything that is happening in the universe, it is accessible to us. We just need to tap into that frequency.
What is your secret? How do you tap this off? I mean, I don't know if you would like to touch this, but you're such a creative person in terms of now you're producing movies, you're directing movies, and you're also acting.
Yeah.
So what gives you that magical creativity, that intuition?
Essentially, I feel that I am not a Gyani or anybody, but I am a Bhakt. Once you are a Bhakt, that state of devotion which people underestimate. Today, when you talk about being a Bhakt, people think somebody who's dumb, who's just being fed the whole opium of devotion and trust, and they're just, becoming devotees. No, it's a great technique if people, especially today's very questioning and reasoning, because I've been an atheist growing up, and I was a science student, and my grandfather was an atheist. He kind of fed me up and he was very successful and always so happy. On the contrary, whoever I saw in my family, my mother and my dadi always praying and doing, and he was always mocking them and cracking jokes about their upvas and all of that. So I thought, I want to be like my grandfather, not like these people who are just so miserable. They don't have sense of humor.
What changed you?
Well, that's a long story, but again, I had a very reasoning mind, and I just feel that the realization that when I was a science student, and the problem with biology, the problem with physics, the problem is with chemistry, even with physics, we don't have accuracy with anything. We do not know. What is the extent of universe? What is the extent of cosmos? We do not know. So even the greatest scientists are telling you that we do not know. And the one today they say that actually the nucleus of atom has these neutron, proton, and electrons, and then they we can split this. Oh, we can further split this. Oh, we can further split it. And so they don't have accuracy in macro or macro.
I'm amazed at what you're saying. Have you read about the wave-particle duality?
Yes, of course.
So how that smallest particle has become nothing but energy.
Exactly. So my point was, growing up, I was like, scientists don't have an answer to this. So who has an answer to this? And that's when I realized that people like Vivekananda or, Osho, and when I was only 14 or 15, when I was reading Osho, because he was like, I have the answer. I said, go on, tell me. Vivekananda was, I know. So I was like, okay, fine. Because the greatest scientists are telling you they don't know.
Right.
So I got inclined to this, and it's been a long journey. Many great souls and spiritual people have guided me through this.
But you jumped straight into spirituality, that means. Or did you go through religion to spirituality?
I was when I was reading a lot of Osho. It evolved because I was very young. It kind of expanded my brain in a way that it it answered everything, every question that I had as a teenager. For example, like, like when I started to understand the social structure and construction of society, like, शादियों में लेन देन, or it's बुआ जी चाची को मासी को बताया मासी जी, and I was like, I had absolute disregard for that structure, and I'm like, I do not subscribe to this.
Because there's no logic. What
I was like, my mother is like, shut up, we've been doing this for the ages. Pakdo suit pe shagan rakho and do, and then we split, and we remove that suit, another shagan, the same thing, because see, you come home and you give a gift, So chachi ka gift we give to Moshi, and Mashi ka gift we give, and I'm like, what's going on? So you shut up. So I was like, these people are just, they have no idea what they're doing. It is not. So I have always been this person where if I do not have respect for somebody, I will not pretend. And I am like, so the right now the people that I look up to are my parents, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't seem to know what they're doing,
And this is what I said, which you didn't believe. This is the Kangana whom I am seeing, and I can tell you intuitively, this is the kind of person that needs to question and say no.
So, okay, again, the important thing that I want to reach out to many youngsters, and that has helped me all of through this, that when I've been through Osho, then I went to Osho ashram, and they're like, we need your blood test. I said, why do you need my blood test? They're like, I think 16, I went to Pune. I said, I want to see what's going on there. They're like, we need your blood test. I said, why do you need my blood test? Like, no, if you have some sort of physical. I said, I'm not going to jump on anybody like that.
But you know the answer.
So I think that's somewhere it just sort of, derailed into a way where it just, you miss the purpose of it, because the whole thing is that the grossness of the body and the physicality and the physical world, the idea of spirituality is to realize it, not to hold on to it, right? So, well, it was a big put off for me. And then, I stumbled upon Swami Vivekanand. I think, I think whenever we should have the longing, whenever we have the longing, our guru finds us.
Correct.
We should have the longing.
Absolutely.
So reading, understand, and then after when Swami Vivekananda ji guided me to a point, and then I just all the things, whether it is you read Bhagavad Gita, you read quantum physics, you read physics, or you read whatever you do, you realize that the brain can only lead you to a certain point. After that, it's gonna eat you up. And more you start to mess with it, more neurotic you'll get, So there is only as much brain can lead you, then you should leave it alone. So I realized that, and by the grace of gurus only I realized that. Then came the most important thing, what you said and what I said, how do we access what we access? There is something called bhakti that we think that our culture is carrying for thousands of years, and we take it for granted, because if you talk to an 80-year-old also, she only knows bhakti. So, and you're like, this is the most ghisapita word in our culture, bhakti. What is bhakti? But it is such a technique that if you access it, you access everything. It is a state of absolute surrender and submission to the vastness of existence.
But what you're saying is very profound. But I don't know whether you've contemplated on this. Bhakti mein hai shakti.
Yes.
Jisse hogi anubhuti, jisse hogi mukti. So what you just said, Kangana, is very profound. My parents are 85 years old, and my father comes to the temple every day to do arti. They have bhakti. But what bhakti cannot become mukti unless you use a guru's help to get the anubhuti. And this is what they call self-realization and God realization. Yes. What happened? I was Ravi for 25 years. Success. I was only the second guy in Bangalore who had a 6-door limousine, which I got from Bollywood. I was only the second person. You know who the first person would be by now. So then I realized I am not Ravi. I am the Atma in Ravi. This was the awakening. I was a bhakta from 8 to 48. Then I used to say, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. I went from Om Namah Shivaya to Shivoham. And that became my mantra, Shivoham Shivo, which means Shiva is inside me. And when somebody asked me one day what happened, and you told me I had written 100 books, I written 1,500 songs. The funny part, my books are in English and my songs are in Hindi.
Wow.
मेरी हिंदी की जो मैं बोलता हूँ टूटी फूटी है, लेकिन all my songs, so I had one song I said, मैं हवा हूँ ये तन मन अहंकार नहीं, आत्मा हूँ मैं शक्ति हूँ परमात्मा की, मैं अमर हूँ मेरी मौत होती नहीं, मैं तो शक्ति हूँ व्यक्ति नहीं. So what did I realize? I realized I'm not this. This is Ravi. I am the Atma in Ravi. So I kept saying Atma in Ravi, Atma in Ravi, AiR ho gaya. And then they said, this became the kind of a brand, as you call it, you like everybody creates and I didn't know. I started with one book, two books, and it went on and went on and went on.
So you talk about just this eternal happiness that you realized after your realization. But Buddha said, it's very something that stuck with me for a very long time, that the world is supposed to be like a place full of dukh.
Absolutely.
You can't आप यहाँ पे खुशी नहीं expect कर सकते. तो how is one supposed to be in that state then?
It's true. Isn't it true? You and me, have we not had a fall when we were growing tall? You must have definitely fallen with the body. यहाँ पे दर्द हुआ, fracture हुआ. So Kangana, what the Buddha said, this world is full of suffering, dukkha. I asked the question, who suffers? The body suffers physical pain, but more than the body, the mind. The mind creates fear, worry, stress, anxiety, regret, shame, and guilt. And more than the mind, the ego. It suffers anger, hate, revenge, jealousy, pride, greed, and selfishness. I call these the 14 monsters. Now, the reason we suffer is because we have not found the three keys. The three keys of being happy. How do people spell happy? If you pay attention, people spell happy as H-A-P-P-Y. But I say you cannot be happy with two P's. If you want to be happy, there must be three P's, which are the three keys. If you want to open the mansion of happiness, you want to open a palace, the first key is pleasure. We all want pleasure. You're looking gorgeous in this beautiful sari. I also, even though I'm spiritual, I still wear a good white shirt. I don't believe that hame sadhu banna hai, sannyasi banna hai. No. Happiness and enlightenment have a connection. The first P is pleasure. But the second P is peace. Tell me, if you don't have peace, can you be happy?
That's true.
If you lose your peace of mind, किसी ने तंग किया, किसी ने आपको कुछ उल्टा सीधा किया. I'm sure you've come across people who are obnoxious. I mean, they're really, you can't understand. Kyun kiya? What did I do for you to react like that? But there's no answer. So I find the first P is pleasure, we need it. The second P is peace, but the third P is purpose. And Kangana, if you find purpose, कि मैं कौन हूँ और मैं यहाँ पे क्यों आई हूँ, this will lead us to a state of eternal happiness. Sometimes when I go to Bollywood, people ask me in Bollywood, अरे यार तुम eternal happiness के बारे में बात करते हो, joke कर रहे हो यार. हम तो दुखी हैं, there's so much unhappiness. But I say, if you live with pleasure, peace and purpose, then your life can be. Don't you think that, have you found that state of peace and purpose and that gives you happiness, or do you feel that life is only pleasure?
No, there is definitely in life is not only pleasure at all. Life is a
So much pain.
bitch, So no, life is it's like I think it's like a wave, so that you've seen surfers. You've got to ride it or it'll just crush you. It's like a wave. Every time you have to be ready, and it has ways of superseding you, surprising you. If you think, oh, I've cracked this I know, you'll have a situation that you have not known. You could have not anticipated it. Like that is how life is.
So what is life according to you? just off the cuff, if somebody asks you, "Zindagi kya hai?" आप क्या बोलते हैं? Zindagi kya hai?
I think, it's definitely हम लाइफ में, मुझे नहीं लगता कि हम यहाँ पे सुख भोगने आए हैं, क्योंकि the more we chase that, it's an illusion. The more it starts to disappear, if we go after it, really after it, we'll drown. But we kind of do it and we're like, fine, this is it, but I also know this is an illusion. This will eat me up. So I think life is just a series of tests that you go through.
But tell me, since you've gone from Bollywood to the political field, this world has so many problems. You were just talking about the Meghalaya, this whole story of people cutting bodies and putting it in refrigerators. It's become such a joke. I'm sorry to say, crazy.
But that if these people even get the sense of the essence of what you're talking about, the truth, you think they will do this? In a minute, their mind will change. It's just that shift. They just need a guru. They just need somebody to guide them and tell them that, it's just, देखो हमारी संस्कृति में ना एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है. I was very small. I was at 16 or 17. One yoga teacher is a very dear friend, and that's what I'm saying, that you don't have one guru. You come across so many gurus in life. Your mother is your first guru, then your teachers, then दूसरी चीज़ आजकल की generation को क्या लगता है कि we know everything. They don't have admiration and surrender for anybody, and that's why they can't learn. Once you start to, I think why I've ended up learning so much in life, because anybody I see, even if I see a maid, doing cleaning stuff, so I'll try and understand her technique. What did she do? Tomorrow maybe I'll have to do, maybe for a scene, or maybe my maid has gone home or something, So I have admiration for everybody.
Beautiful.
So my guru, my yoga teacher, Surya Narayan ji, I was doing yoga, and I was suffering something, just suffering something so enormously. Probably one of my struggling days, I was not getting job, or I was not getting work, and then there were people who were putting me down, making me feel like I've kind of made wrong choices, and all of that. So I just started to cry, and then he said, "Kya hua?" I said, "Nothing, I can't, there's no point of talking about it, because..." So he's like, देखो लाइफ में बहुत सिंपल है, जब भी आपको कोई चीज, भगवान ने आपको इतनी बड़ी ताकत दी है. I said, क्या ताकत मुझे दी है? How can I help my circumstances? लोग मुझे तंग कर रहे हैं, मैं तंग होना नहीं चाहती हूँ, तो how can I help it? So तो ये लोग कौन है? I said, है मेरे friends हैं, they don't think I can make it, मेरी family कुछ. So उन्होंने सब कहते नहीं, हमारे पास बहुत बड़ी पावर है. I said, क्या पावर है? कहते त्याग की पावर.
त्याग की.
So whatever trying to bother you in life, whether it is your cigarette smoking, whether it is your alcohol, whether it is your lover, whether त्याग दो.
And you'll find it solves the problem.
Gone. I said, yaar, sach mein, the friend का number delete.
I'm learning something from you.
Because today this person who has cut this person into pieces, only this person had to know, just let this person be. त्याग दो उसको. If you think this person is messing with your state of mind, your peace of mind, त्याग दो उसको, जाने दो. Once you have cut that person from your mind, it's anyway deleted. As good as dead.
Correct. You don't have to kill.
There are so many people in the world, they don't have access to us. How do we know they exist? Just because data telling us no. They're as good as not existent. Why to kill people? Why to wish an ill upon anybody when you can simply delete them from your mind?
But these problems are too many. This what's happening in today's world. I want to, from all the world, if you look at the world today, there's so many problems. What do you think is the cause? What is the cause of these problems?
Mind.
And the mind, what is the mind? मैंने आपको बॉल दिया. बॉल का कलर है येलो. शेप है, गोल है. बोलिए माइंड का कलर क्या है और शेप क्या है?
Exactly.
There is no mind. Nobody has seen mind. आपने दिमाग, you've seen brain, you've seen kidney. The mind is only a bundle of toxic thoughts. When toxic thoughts, they come down and they pour like rain, they push you down the drain. And they make you unhappy again and again. So what you said, our biggest problem, 100% right, our biggest problem of the world is mind. But how?
mind also, I think the mind में भी जो set of villains है ना, उनमें सबसे बड़ा villain is ego.
Absolutely.
You know, so what do you say? देखो बोलना बहुत आसान है, ego नहीं होना चाहिए, ये नहीं होना चाहिए. तो how can you destroy the ego? What do you think?
You're bringing such an amazing question. Let me share with you. You said something so amazing. So in Sanatan Dharma, they say neti neti. Correct? We are not this body. If you look at this body, this beautiful body, did this body come first or you came first? Just contemplate.
I came first.
When did you come? This body came over 9 months when you were in your mother's womb. When you were that small zygote in your mother's womb. At that time body था, body नहीं था. लेकिन स्कूल में हमने पढ़ा कि बॉडी बनता है. फिर 9 महीने के बाद बॉडी comes. People say happy birthday to you. ऐसे ना, ऐसे happy arrival day to you. आपका तो जन्म तो 9 महीना पहले हो गया. So this neti, I am not this body. One day body will die. And people will say, this man Ravi, he passed away. So I leave the body. This we know, you and me know we. So Kangana, neti, I am not the body. Neti, I am not the mind. There is no mind. But this rascal mind, I gave you the book, Mind is a Rascal, it creates a false ego. And the false ego says, I am I. In reality, the ego is not I. I realized, I've written a book, it's called I Am Not I. I found this today when I was having chai. आपको तो ये familiar है ना? क्या बोलते हैं आपके? कुल्हड़. तो हम जब जाते हैं, कभी कभी हम हिल स्टेशन में जाते हैं, भैया हमें कुल्हड़ चाय दो. मजा आता है कुल्हड़ चाय. So, what is this? What do you call this? कुल्हड़. Any doubt ये कुल्हड़ है? Now, the ego thinks I am a कुल्हड़. But in reality, it's not a कुल्हड़. In reality, this is मिट्टी. Do you doubt what I'm saying? ये कुल्हड़ किससे बना है? मिट्टी से. लेकिन हम मिट्टी नहीं देखते हैं, हम कुल्हड़ देखते हैं. ईगो क्या देखता है? ईगो देखता है I am Ravi. I am not Ravi. My name is Ravi. Unfortunately, we have got caught in the wrong identity. From the time you were a small girl, did you not cry for your Barbie doll?
Yeah.
We all cry for a ball and a doll. But the point is, the ego has learned wrong that I am I. I am not I. In spirituality, what do we learn? Again, some of the things come in the form of a song. So in the song, I've written this, I don't know if this will make sense to you. It says, मौत पे मालूम होता मैं कुछ भी ना, रहती है बस मिट्टी और कुछ ना, आत्मा जो निकल जाती वो है तू ही, तुम बिन मैं क्या हूँ प्रभु, कुछ भी नहीं, तुम बिन मिट्टी भी ना, तुम बिन तो मिट्टी भी हो ना, तुम बिन तो मिट्टी हो कहाँ. What am I? Prabhu, the ego says, I am not the body, I am not the mind. Then the ego is enlightened. I've got some very interesting things to share with you, I hope I can. The ego is something that gives a wrong identity. Of course you are Kangana, but Kangana is not just a beautiful actress. In reality, Kangana is a goddess. When you realize I am a manifestation of God, when I am the Atma and the Atma is Paramatma, then you become truly enlightened, and that's where the ego disappears. You know, you've been to the Lok Sabha. In the parliament, there's a board put up, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Have you ever contemplated what it means? What is the meaning of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam?
It's a very common phrase. You know, it means the world is one big home, one big
तो
family.
कैसे बताइए?
Well, I think essentially, I feel that in cosmic language, God has not made boundaries. God, जैसे हम अर्थ को जानते हैं या हम पूजते हैं, you know, that is like Mother Earth, who's equal to everybody and every, whether it's animal or, you know, soil, worms, or that Mother Earth is the same for everybody. We are the one जिन्होंने lines लगाई हुई हैं, you know. Otherwise, essentially, it's the same. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम यहाँ पे समंदर में पानी कचरा फेंकते हैं तो उधर उस वाले देश को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, सबको फर्क पड़ता है. इट्स द सेम. अगर यहाँ पे कोविड चाइना से निकलता है तो पूरे वर्ल्ड में सबकी वाट लगती है। तो ऐसे हम लोगों को लगता है कि हमारे आज जब रशिया यूक्रेन का वॉर हो रहा है तो इकोनॉमी सारे वर्ल्ड के अफेक्ट
Everybody is affected.
ये एसेंशियली अगर देखा जाए इट्स नॉट जस्ट अ स्पिरिचुअल थॉट कि वासुदेव कुटुंबकम, ये एक रियलिटी है, ये एक वास्तविकता है। पर somewhere I just feel that we need to have that understanding, we need to extend ourselves, all of us, to feel that way.
But you know, there's something very beautiful. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam comes from Sanatan Dharma, which tells us if you are not the body and you are not, I know that you've seen this. This is a very funny thing I always do. Let me share this with you. It appears, if I take these two balloons, ये दो हो गए, एक कंगना है, एक रवि, आत्मा एंड रवि. If now I leave this air, this is the signifies my atma and your atma. If I give somebody 10 crores, can they give me back this blue hawa separately and the white hawa separately? Is it possible? This hawa and this hawa, where are they?
Yeah.
They have merged with the air that is everywhere. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, according to the Sanatan Dharma, tells us that we are all one Atma. And Atma is Paramatma. For example, एक लहर और दूसरी लहर में फर्क क्या है? दोनों समुंदर है. So this is the sad thing that we don't realize. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it's very beautiful in the parliamentary language that we are all one family.
So in your simple words, what is enlightenment?
Enlightenment, the word, is enlighten, to bring in the light. And what is the light? Going from the lower self, going to the higher self. Lower self क्या है? मैं बॉडी हूँ, मैं माइंड हूँ, मैं ईगो हूँ, मैं रवि हूँ, मैं शर्मा हूँ, मैं गुप्ता हूँ. ना तुम शर्मा हो, ना तुम गुप्ता हो. वो तो नाम बाद में आया. तुम एक आत्मा हो. Enlightenment is this. All you've got to do, these are things that are on my table sometimes. Now nothing is there. So now you switch on the light. When you switch on the light, then you can see. Where did the fire go? अभी आग था यहाँ पे तक. Where did it go? Nobody knows. Where did we come from? Where will we go? Enlightenment, you go, suppose you enter your house and there's no light. अब क्या करेगी? If you enter your house and there's no light,
Switch on the light.
you switch on the light. Enlightenment is to switch on the light. But not the light in your room, the light inside. And the moment you're able to switch on the light, which is with the help of a guru. In fact, you found Vivekananda. So they told me, this superstar that you're going to meet on this podcast is Kangana. I said, huh. So I always love the game of name. So I said, Kangana क्या है? ये क्या है?
चूड़ी, yes, कंगन.
इसको कंगना बोलते कि नहीं?
Yes.
So if you look at this, ये कंगना है. But this is a gold bangle. If I remove the gold from the bangle, तो फिर बैंगल कहाँ है? एक गोल्ड बैंगल से अगर मैं गोल्ड निकाल दूं, तो है गोल्ड कंगना है? Kangana is not there. This appears to be a Kangana. You appear to be Kangana, but actually who are you? You're a Devi. You're God. जब आपके अंदर जो परमात्मा है, जो आत्मा है, जो निकल जाती है, this is the reality of life. See, when I was looking at the Kangana, look at this. We are not mortal like this. We are immortal. This is Kangana infinite है ना? It goes round and round and round and round. Enlightenment is realizing I am an immortal soul. When somebody looks at this and says, hey, Sona, I say you may be a hero. When I look at this, I'm a zero. Because only when we realize we are nothing, then we become everything. I know that you and me can
All the way. But I hope that it is not done up to me. I hope God gives me a life full of, celebrations and love and happiness and above everything, bhakti. I think I want to live a life of a bhakt, and I want to be drenched in bhakti and live a life which is in this world but out of this world. I don't want to be that worldly a person where you need to be dealing with so much, but I have huge respect for those who do it.
So since you said this, I'm not, obviously I respect what you say, but you're not yet 40, you're less than 40. But if you enjoy a life of achievement, a life of pleasure, and you will grow. You from 40, you will become 50, one day 60, one day 70. Ultimately, what is the purpose? You think you will just continue enjoying the bhakt and continue enjoying the beautiful world, or if the divine will is for you to become a powerful person to help transform the world, you will take it up, or you think that at this point of time you don't have any thought?
You know, we have such great leaders, and we need more spiritual leader. People, I see the way we have flourished in last 11 years, from our borders to our, getting free ration. I think right now what people have most problems are in India. We have right now, with the latest report, we have removed more than 23 crore people out of poverty. Now we have such minimum people living with poverty. But you know what is coming with so much affluence or development or progress is the mind that we are not able to handle, the spirit that we are not able to handle. We need more spiritual leaders, and I wish you the best there. And I hope that you are able to help and guide and heal as many souls as you can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your words are very beautiful, and I wish you all the best. And I'm telling you while you go, that there's a power in you which probably you don't recognize, but there's a power in you which you should be aware of. That
Thank
power
you.
that's throbbing inside of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for patiently listening to the video. And if you have questions, if you want to contact me, just WhatsApp me on 98451 55555. WhatsApp India 919845155555. 55555. But if you want to get answers to your questions, then come on Zoom, and the Zoom ID is on your screen. Every day at 8, you will find answers to all the difficult questions of life. See you there.